Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Hola. Welcome back again to our LinkedIn live series, Twitter live series, YouTube live series, and Facebook live series from Global Society for Human Capital Management. We do this live series every week and we bring to our esteemed members some new topics, new discussion, and we also bring to you a new dimension for the different aspect of the workplace challenges which we face on a day-to-day basis. And during this COVID-19, we all have different kind of challenges. And one challenge which is emerging is how to ensure creativity among our employees while they are working from home. And today we're going to have a fantastic discussion in this. And we have today with us our wonderful speakers. And you already know Esther Comabella. She is the chairperson of Spanish chapter for Global Society of Human Capital Management. And we'll hear a lot today about creativity as one of the key crucial skills while you manage your people work from home. Lilit, she's going to founder of brands and she's going to explain to us in detail. And let me now hand over today's discussion for moderation to Esther Comabella. Esther.
Thank you, Sandeep. As always, it's been a pleasure, and it's a pleasure sharing these moments with you and sharing experiences and the knowledge and the creativity today with Lilit. We are working really hard in the chapter, in the Spanish chapter, to really grow this community, to build together best practices in regards to HR. And one of the most challenging things we are working right now with this pandemic, it is how we can boost the creativity, how we can use creativity as a tool for finding out solutions to our daily issues. And I think we have today the great opportunity to work together with our guest, with our Lilit D'Elia, who will explain us and who will train us on how to use creativity to help us in our day-to-day. So I would like to hand it over to Lilit, who will explain us a little bit more about creativity, and we will have the chance also to practice and to have some surprise at the end of this session. Welcome.
Good evening, buenas tardes, buona tarda, buon pomeriggio to everybody today. Thank you for joining this online event, and thanks Esther and Sandeep to give me this opportunity. For me, it's a real pleasure to share this time with you in order to have an important discussion, because I am really follower of creativity, and nowadays there is a really hard context, no, to believe more in creativity. But the point is how we can break the rules in a world that is basically losing the rules. That's why with Esther, we are going to have this co-creation session, okay? The idea is, first of all, to introduce a little bit myself. I am Italian, but I live here in Barcelona. I am a marketing and communication and branding consultant at the ambidextrous consultancy that I found recently, which is Brands. Okay, and now I would like to share the presentation. Okay. Now, just a moment. Okay, you can see the presentation? Yes.
We can see the presentation, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Esther. Okay, yes, this is me. And basically, I have a strong background in terms of startups and scale-ups, which is basically the comfort zone of uncertainty. Okay, and why I make brands? Because I strongly believe that the world needs high impact brands in order to have an impact, a real impact to change and improve the world through beauty and the truth. Okay, so it's a tribute to all the brands with digital and social value. My background is based on community manager, so at the end I really strongly believe in this what I used to say as a ambidextrous. That means the ability to combine our analytical side, when you are managing every in detail and in order to establish which is the impact in terms of numbers, profits, etc. But of course, with the strong combination with the emotional side, with this human being, with the beauty, with the well-designed products, etc. Of course, I focus on performance because nowadays it's really, really, really important to be focused on results and on collaboration. I think this time is a really, really, really great time to collaborate together to solve some global problems. Because nowadays we have the possibility, thanks to the agile and the remote dynamics, to collaborate. Doesn't matter for example, the geography, doesn't matter where are you, where are me. We can collaborate with the technology, we can communicate. This event is an example of this type of collaboration, for example. And I really believe that it's important to find the right talent and collaborate together. Then, okay, creativity has always been hard. Now, hard is like the trending topic, because in the context of COVID-19, everything is more hard. Everything is more uncertainty. But creativity always has be a hard topic. Why? Because basically it's hard to get inspired. Basically, it's hard once you have your favorite idea to implement it, to execute this idea. And it's really hard to demonstrate how creativity has an impact on profits, for example. How you can determine it, okay, this innovation, this idea that you have got, this idea that you have implemented in your company, in your organization, and this is the linked result, and this is the impact. And of course, for example, to see which is the direct feedback, because one is the result in terms of business, and another one is what is the result in terms of, for example, team working. Okay, but creativity is human. Nowadays there is a discussion. No? Nowadays we are all focusing on the new trend, which is, for example, quantum computing. But at the end, if we have this technology, there is someone. No, there will be someone in charge of this, and we are in charge. And I strongly believe as the creativity is a human skill. Of course, the machine could learn from us, could be more faster, could be, maybe they are going to make less errors. But for me, there is a part that is human, which is responsibility, which is ethics. So how we are going to manage this new technology. And of course, there is a lot of space to how build this new technology and how to manage at the same time conscious leadership with this technology. Okay. And at the end, creativity matters. We saw a lot of analysis, a lot of articles regarding creativities nowadays. One of the top most demanded skills, for example, or when you put in your profile, I am a creative person, the first question would be, okay, how you can demonstrate this? please, this. For example, tell me regarding your projects, tell me regarding your problems that you solved in the past, for example. So creativity matters, and for company matters too. But there is always, for me, a different approach how you face the challenge. No, you can face the challenge as a challenge, or you can face a challenge as an opportunity to grow. And for me, this is a really, 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 really nice time to grow and to grow together. So happy new creativity. We have to celebrate this. Of course, for us, it makes a little bit scared. So there is a fear how we can manage it remotely, how we can manage this with more in an effective way, how we can manage, for example, creativity, which is something spontaneous. And maybe when you have a lot of Zoom sessions that are only meetings in order to decide something, but not in order to create something, because creativity happens during the show timing, for example, or when you are thinking regarding something else that is not related with your work. So when your mind is is thinking regarding other things. But I think that this is a point to celebrate, because if we faces it like an opportunity, like a huge opportunity to grow and to grow together, of course our position, our eyes are going to see this as in another way, and this is really important. So the topic, how to inspire creativity. There is a basic. So back to basic. Maybe could sound like a little vintage, but it's true. Shared value. The point is why you are creative. Why do you think different? Why do you think outside of the box? Why do you think more? Why do you think for your company, for your organization? Because you have this sentiment of shared value. Because you know that what you are thinking about matters. Because you love the problem that is facing your organization. Because you really believe on the vision, on the vision, on the mission, on all the values that sustain, that creates a sense, a common sense in your organization. So basically, it's not regarding how many tools do you have. It's not regarding how many artists or crazy people do you have in your team, but it's about your ethics. How important is the problem that you are solving? Because as much is this problem important, as much I will allocate my energy, my creativity as a human to solve it. Okay? So experience. First of all, can you hear me? Esther?
Yes, Lilit, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Okay, just a moment. Okay, experience. So it's really important in this remote area, the experience, because at the end, for me, creativity is like a journey. When you are thinking about to solve a problem, this in itself is an experience, and how you are going to manage it, how you are going to establish, for example, a routine to think about this problem, how you are going to manage maybe some surprise activity, because when we are surprising ourselves, there is something new that came from us, for example, or are you going to arrange some gamification activity in order to establish different key roles? Because at the end, we understand perfectly that usually in a company or in an organization, the ideas came always from the same people, because there are people more like open to discussions, open to new ideas, open to think out of the box. And there are some other profiles that are not more like this. So it's important to establish these dynamics in order to grow together, and in order to have, I think, these great memories. Because if you remember that you fall in love with the process of creation, you for sure you are going to repeat, and you are going to improve your creativity, because you want to, repeat this amazing experience with these people, with this team, for this reason. Okay. Another important topic is execution, because at the end we could have an amazing brainstorming with a lot of ideas, but if we can decide, take action, more than just say, oh, this is a great idea, we're going to do that. No, you need an executive plan. For example, who is going to be the responsible, what are the delivery times, who is going to be the backup, for example, if something goes wrong. And most important, for example, nowadays, which are the communication channels? Because nowadays we are in remote era, and it's really important to define, okay, maybe for the urgent situation we have WhatsApp, maybe for the brainstorming we can use a tool in the cloud, for example, or maybe to have just one-on-one recap, we will use a Zoom and put on Slack after that the video in order to share. Now we can now record, for example, this kind of experience, and we can share more with our team, not just share with the people that are joining, for example, the key meetings. Okay. And then there is impact. After all, I want to see that what I am thinking for, the idea that came from my head, has a real impact. And I want to see, visualize, I want to see in the real world that they are true, they are beauty, and of course, they work for a better future for our organization. They have a great impact, a positive impact. And in terms of impact, there are three sides, three key points. The first one would be, okay, I want to know if all of my ideas will be executed. Because if only the 10% of my ideas will be executed, you know why? I feel boring, and maybe I stop thinking for the organization. So this is really, really important to have this feeling of experiments, because at the end, nowadays and in the digital era, it's really easy to experiment and to try and fail, and then succeed. The second one would be a really through communication. If I don't know, bring my ideas, if I collaborate in a project, I would like to know the status of this project. I would like to know if there is something more that I can do, or how I can contribute, or how I can manage better an imprevious or a situation that it was not in the agenda, for example. And the third would be, I would like to learn. And the impact is not only outside, is also and most relevant inside. So it's really important in all this process to include the HR person in charge. Why? Because it's important to learn. Which is the general feedback, which is the most important learning that I get from this experience. Because if I have this sensation that I am not only, the creative mind in the company, but I am growing as a professional, and not only in terms of job title, but in terms of skills, in terms of management, soft skills, etc. This gives me more energy to bring more creativity. Okay, so keep in mind these three key points: experience, because we like to have a good experience in order to have good memories and repeat the experience. Execution, because in the execution there is this process, this operation, how manage execution, that is an experience itself. And impact meaning we need to understand the impact not only like the result, but of course with the feedback, with the communication, internal communication, etc. So at the end, I made this graphic because I really that is really true for startups, for scale-ups, but it's true for nowadays every organization, because uncertainty is our comfort zone nowadays because it's our daily reality. So if we keep in mind that execution is really important and experience is evolving through time, okay, in the middle, we of course, we will able to manage better our impact of our decisions, of our creativity, of our actions plans, etc. But in the middle, there is a reality, which is, if imagine that is a metaphor. Imagine that we are an ocean, okay, or a sea. There are calm periods, there are waves, there are unexpected waves, but of course there are also an amazing landscapes that we can really go through and we can see and experiment. So I would like to see this not just a vertical arrow, because arrow is not linear, this path, because linear is not creative in itself. If we think about the most creativity leader in the world, probably would be nature, and nature is not linear, but it's curved, no? Because it doesn't exist. If you want to go from the point A to point B, it's not just this line, but this, no? So keep in mind this, because when you understand, okay, move on through experience and move on to execution, I will manage better and I will give more positive impact with my work, with my creative work. After that, we can underline the importance of the HR department and the importance of the leadership. And for me, leadership is not regarding job titles, but is like a sense of human being. And that's why the more holistic we are, the more leaders we will be. And of course, the holistic leadership works and works in a different two levels. Because I understand perfectly the situation nowadays. In order to survive, we have to keep in mind, we have to take care more than ever, our organization, our people. But I think that creativity comes to mix it up different ingredients, not only your own ingredients. That's why I built this table, this dashboard. And if you, as you see, there are two levels, team and community. Then there are three sections, which are experience, execution, and impact. And for example, if we cross team and experience, at the end, a brainstorming, if we create an experience for our team, it will be for sure a team building and a great memory for our team. For example, in execution, creativity in general is like, is synonymous of chaotic process. But believe me, the most creative companies, Walt Disney, for example, they established a creative operation. Why? Because if you know your path, if you know that there are these steps like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you are more focused on content. You are not focused on what I have to do, but these key actions, what I have to bring to be different in these steps. So it's not regarding how to set up the operations, but it's regarding to bring a simple structured operation in order to be free, really, to jump to another level, which is content. Okay, now we have this operation funnel. How we can bring more value, and then impact. through communication. Nowadays, it's possible, for example, I repeat, to share video. In the past was only, no, this is a committee, this is a meeting, and I have a crazy agenda, I can't attend all the events. Okay, but you can put there or resume, for example, in a small piece. That could be, for example, be involved in a training session from the HR department, for example. Or maybe you can also include the key meeting video, for example, for your onboarding, because it's more creative than just a welcome pack. I want to see how these people are working, like the big father. Okay. Then at the community level, we have the experience, for example, the networking experience. And this is an example. So thank you again, Esther, to bring me here, because at the end is related. If you want to be more creative, you have to manage things in a different way. And now we can, for example, set up webinars, workshops. We used to go to real events, or we used to pay, for example, for real events, no, in terms of learnings activity to boost our talent inside organization, etc. But nowadays it's possible to build teams just for a project. And nowadays we have this flexibility because everybody understands the situation and everybody's work to be profitable in a remote way, and of course to work in a remote way. Okay, so basically the most important key point here is a shared value. So to have a shared value with your community. Now we are going to see the video, which is an example of creative collaboration. It's really brief. Okay, Sandeep, if you can put the video, please. Okay. Thank you. Could you hear the video in general?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. This was an example of co-creation. Leader is, the point is the world needs new tech leaders in order to change the world in a better place for everybody. That's why the Leader First program is like an MBA, but for tech leaders. And we co-create this. This is a movement impulsed by Álvaro Moya, but we co-create this piece of communication and all the communication, for example, with the collaboration of the amazing creative director from Madrid, the mentors that are from different cities of Europe. So this is an example of how you can create a product from scratch and how you can manage communication and marketing from scratch and in a remote and agile era. Okay, now I will share the screen again. Perfect. And we are going to brainstorm a little bit together. So I need some voluntaries. Who wants to join this brainstorming?
Probably, Lilith, we should explain a little bit more what is this brainstorming about, so they can have some idea of the exercise. So probably from there we will have more of some volunteers.
Yeah. True. And the idea is to establish the typical path of a brainstorming. So we have an opening, which is context and information. We will have a exploring step, which is a remote brainstorming, basically, and then we can make some conclusions. Okay, the brainstorming is based on to solve this problem: how to break the rules in a world without rules. If you remember this table, okay, I would like to brainstorm with some volunteer what kind of actions, for example, we can establish to make a great experience every creative meetings, for example, how we can make a better execution, so how we can establish a great process to really make it easy to be creative for our people, for example, or how we can improve our communication, because nowadays communication is a key point. We need to communicate more effectively, and with a lot of new tools, such as, for example, video, as I mentioned before. So the idea is to fill these gaps, these 6 gaps, in order, if we cross, for example, team with experience, team in execution, team impact, or community experience, community execution, and community impact. So this is the briefing of the brainstorming. And after that, we are going to recap the favorite ideas and, of course, to take it action, because I really understand the point is that this talk, I will really proud of this talk if you can take some learning or some action item and implement or experiment in your organization. Okay, so the idea is to solving together this how to break the rules in a world without rules. And this is the opening. So who wants to join?
It sounds really challenging, Lilith. So I hope we have some volunteers. Obviously, probably the system, it will be they will bring their ideas and you will take note to have this like collage of different ideas, so we can co-create together. At the end, we can have like this picture with all the ideas that we have bring there in order to boost our creativity, in order to solve our problems, to think a little bit out of the box.
Yeah, I will show you this table, because basically it's filling these gaps. For example, in terms of team, what kind of activities we can arrange to be more creative, okay, but to be more proud of this process, no, of this experience of co-creation together. So any volunteer?
No volunteers, okay.
No volunteers?
Start with me and Esther.
Yeah, we can start. We can like ice break a little bit with this new activity, so we will be creative. So if you can share, Lilit, the screen, so we have the idea of what is the part we are now
perfect.
Building with our
Yes. For example, if we start from team, no, this is a HR responsibility, for example. For the team, how we can make the different experience, the normal, the normal brainstorming, for example, online. Is there? Here's some idea.
How making this experience different? Yeah, it is difficult to think about that. Probably, I don't know. I really don't know. I need you to help me with that.
Okay. Some idea, for example.
You are the expert in creativity.
Yeah. Some idea. The point is, as we listen in your last talk, for example, in your last event that you organized 3 weeks ago or something like that. The point is, nowadays the communication is formal or informal, okay? And creativity used to happen in the informal communication. But in an era where everything is set up, in an era where every meeting has to be set up via Zoom, it's really difficult to have these spontaneous, dialogues, this spontaneous conversation. The idea to set up here is, for example, imagine that you are going to organize a coffee every Monday. I don't know, Monday are the hardest part of the week, so we can make more sweet this Monday morning, and you're going to set up randomly this coffee between people of different areas, different departments, or if it's a small organization, maybe different projects that are not usually work together. You can bring this together and put like, it's a coffee time, but it's a virtual coffee time, and you are going to discuss regarding this topic. Not to solve it, but just to have a brief discussion regarding this this topic. And probably you will have a different kind of conversation because you match different people, because you focus on this topic, because, for example, could be not a priority for you, but yes, for the organization. So this could be one. Another one is, for example, if you use Slack, you can also put random people in a different channels, and then put the subject of the channel, and maybe the subject is this is the problem that we are going to solve together, and you have to bring the solution at the end of the week. So maybe you are going to probably to arrange this like these sprints, these creativity sprints. This could be another. Or gamification. There are a lot of analyses that say that the creative people, works really not more. For example, for the sales people, is a good point to establish bonus, is a good point to establish, an extra money, extra budget if you achieve this target, if you achieve this goal in terms of sales, in terms of profit. But for example, for creativity people has to be tested a lot of times. That is not that is not positive, because you need to be really free in order to establish this deep connection with the problem, in order to don't have this limitation. Okay, if I didn't achieve the right solution, not this pressure of if I didn't achieve the right solution, I will not get the money, for example. So there are a lot of studies regarding this, that from some role it's important to establish bonus, but for example for the creative ones it's better no. These are some ideas from my side, but of course depending on the company.
Of course, it depends on the company. I don't know. I was thinking about how to create this different experience when you are having a brainstorming or a team building or a meeting with your teams. Especially on this period that we are almost all working on remote. So just as an example, and you mentioned that we are having like these random coffees in which we discuss different or several topics that we have in our day-to-day, especially in human resources, that this is my position in the company. So probably when you are you are working on remote and you need like this more personal connection, some of this, or some of the ideas, proposal is obviously to have the camera switch on, which is not so common, so you can see each other, and of course you can share if it's a coffee, or I don't know, you can even share your coffee, and so you can discuss it as a more informal meeting, although you are discussing serious things, but probably to start breaking a little bit the topic, and to be really a brainstorming, so from a more informal way, so you get this confidence and you start bringing ideas, opinions, so it can be it can be a starting point, so approaching this topic, for example, from a more informal view.
Yeah, I think that creativity is a serious game. It's a serious, but it's at the same time a game. So imagine that, for example, you are going to run a specific activity, a specific meeting to solve an urgent, important problem, and you need really this creative energy from all of the team, of the members of the team. Maybe you could arrange a double starting point of the meeting, which is the typical one. Okay, this is the context, this is the problem that we are facing nowadays, this is our goal, blah, blah, and this is, the typical business speech. Another starting point that you can set up is to have a voluntary, for example, in the team, and establish to start this meeting before the official start, the official business speech, with a joke, for example, with a song, with a picture, and then there is another kind of conversation. Why did you choose this music to start this meeting? Yes, because this remembers me that this is an important, detail in order to solve it, or this inspired me, At the same time, it's like a mini creative exercise. And I think that creativity at the end is like a sport. You have to training your creativity, and maybe it's not only focus on, okay, now we need to be creative because we have this problem. For example, in my case, in my personal case, I used to be more creative when I get boring. When I have a lot of time and I get boring, I used to be more creative, because I have this problem for me that I need the solution to, to have something to do during this time, during this free time. So I think could be an exercise, and indirectly could be a great exercise to have a good result at the end. this.
Support.
Yeah.
Lilit, what about a situation like this in COVID-19 situation, pandemic situation, where we are, isolated at home, working from home, and a lot of pressure is there building up in your mind, and then forget about creativity. Now you try to cram up for the time and space for yourself, and so much of work pressure from coming from office, from your family, from your other responsibility, and then your mind is totally cluttered, and then you are just clinching yourself, just to finish some priority work, and creativity becomes a totally least priority area.
Yes, it's a priority area. Completely agree.
So what needs to be done at that time? Is it?
I think that now is time to be adults. Sincerely, now is time to, as I mentioned before, maybe in a sweet words. No, now is a happy new creativity. But the time now is to be adults and to face this challenge, as the doctors, for example, are facing. So if you really commit with the values, with the vision, with the mission of your company, of your organization, you never give up. And you have this extra energy to fight, to find a solution. But there will be this deep connection between you and your organization. This is the first. Because if you are clear that for you it's important to find a solution, because otherwise maybe your organization will not survive. Okay. For example, in my case was really clear. In my case, I was really in the position that, okay, I need to work more. I need to work better than in the past, for example, because the organization need this. Because the organization need this extra from my side. As the doctors nowadays, they are push themselves beyond. So we need to push ourselves beyond for a common goal, to have this impact. If you have this in mind, and of course depends on you and depends on the organization, because if I manage correctly my internal communication, not only one direction, not only like the CEO telling you, this is our mission, these are our values, this is important, you have to, this is your responsibility, this is, no. But in both directions, and you establish, for example, moments to listen your people and to ask, how was your day, for example? Not just to are waiting for, no, I have a lot of pressure because my family, because I have kids. Establish moments to have this coaching session with your people. I think is like a battery, you can recharge the emotional feelings, the emotional energy, and then they are going to be more creative, for sure. For me, there are these two important topics. The more clear as you are with your values, with your shared values, and the ability to listen and to really embrace these the feelings of your people.
And how can we use the creativity also, Lilith? Because in your screenshot, you show us working for the team and working for a community, no? So we are speaking a lot about, okay, how can we boost the creativity and the morale of our teams? How can we find creativity in the way we communicate with our teams? But what happens with our community? How can we create or co-create with them, at the same time that we really don't have the morale or the mood, the good mood to really think about creating something beyond us.
Yeah.
How can creativity help in this case? What do you think it can be the first step, the first click that we made in order to think out of the box and start drafting another way of thinking and building something?
For me, there is no recipe depending on the organization, depending on your resources. But basically, if you want to connect, for example, with your community, with your networking, there are two kinds of actions that you can take. The first, it would be more related to learn. So just to listen, just to connect, to read, to share information, to share, for example, data, to share tips. Nowadays, we are facing the same challenge, how to be, for example, creative in the remote era. But there are a lot of challenges that are similar across different organizations. So it's really important to connect with your similars and find a unique solution, a collaborative or a cooperative solution. This is one side. Another side is at the end, in terms of team building, for example, you can arrange a party. Okay, nowadays it's not possible. You can arrange a room escape. Nowadays it's not possible. You can arrange an happy birthday party for nowadays is not possible. So you have to look around what is possible. And there are a lot of good initiatives where you can, just to support, maybe imagine a call center or a customer service of some hospital, NGO, etc. Because there is a reality that a lot of people are giving money to solve the other problems around this situation. So maybe you can collaborate with this remotely, for example, and you can support this communication. And this brings to you really to be more open-minded and to feel more confident. Because when you see the world with another perspective, you realize that, okay, maybe my problem is not the huge problem here. And you have this feeling that you will be more confident and, of course, more creative. Because at the end, creativity is more related with your confidence, with the trust that the others have in your opinion, etc. So if you think that, okay, my action have a great impact, my opinion could have a great impact, you are going to bring more ideas, of course. Is a way to recharge your battery, your creative battery, I think.
And I think we are talking nowadays a lot about collaborative projects and collaborative companies. I think this is part of creativity as well. When you are able to put together different ideas and to co-create something together from different type of people, companies. So this can be a part of creativity or a creation like you did with the program leader. This collaborative project.
Yeah.
It's based on creativity, or can creativity help on these collaborative projects?
Yeah, of course. At the end, the way that you manage will decide the results that you get. If you, if you follow I think this was a quote from, I remember the physics, the relative, the direct. Okay, there is an important physics, I didn't remember the name, sorry, that said if you want different results, you have to do different actions, no? You have to do something different. And that's why we create this Leader First program remotely. Because the situation, but because, for example, Álvaro Moya wants to bring the better tech leaders. And when you want to bring really the best of the best, it's not easy to have, the best near from you. You need to go out and reach them out. So this is the receipt. At the end, we follow a different path, and at the end, this Leader First program, for example, is an immersive learning experience based on challenge. And when you join this MBA for techs, it's like a reality show, because there is a play role that you are the new CTO in the company, and every week you are facing the typical challenge of a CTO, and you are going to live this journey through every area of the business. For example, from to hire people, and from to redefine your team, or from to face a meeting with an investor. So it's really based on real cases.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this can be also a tip, no? When trying to boost creativity as well, probably putting yourself on the other's foot, no? And this is probably, it's not so innovative, but it can help creativity, no? When you are able to think, okay, what is the other side thinking, no? What is the other, what are the others' problems, no, are facing? So this can also help to boost creativity, or not to think in another way. What do you think? Is that true? I mean, when you are able to move outside yourself, you are able to co-create or to create, no, a little bit as well.
Yeah, of course. Einstein was the physics that said if you want to get new results, different results, you have to do something different. Was Einstein. And now I remember. Yes, completely. The point is, if you want to collaborate, you have to be more human and more empathic. You have to really understand other points of view, and not only other points of view, in order to understand the way that some people think that is different from your way, but the way that they are, for example, working. Because remote working is related to, for example, to not following the same timetable. Maybe when I wake up, you go to bed, and I'm waiting for your response or your feedback in order to proceed with other steps. So this delay, for example, you need to establish another process, another operation, another rules, no? And for example, the managing timetable at the end is really important. And another topic is to manage the conversation, because now, yes.
Lilit, now we
Okay.
have just 1 minute left. So we need to. You have something interesting thing to offer to the viewers and all. Would you like to
the
announce
surprise,
this now?
if you want.
Yes, please share it with us.
Okay, the idea is, because I am managing the communication and the marketing for Leader First program, I am able to give a scholarship of 3,000 euros. So if you are going to apply online, please put, I am here because Lilit, and we are going to evaluate your candidature in order to understand if you, for example, are matching with our expectation, and finally give you your scholarship. Okay, it's only one.
Hold on, Lilit. Hold on.
Okay.
So this was from the Dubai HR Majlis. So since a lot of activity goes on UAE, and then UAE going to be a hub here. So do announcement of the same again, some scholarship, which you said just now.
Now, briefly, basically because I am in charge of the communication and the marketing of the Leader First program impulsed by Alvaro Moya, I'm able to give one scholarship of 3,000 euros. So if you want to apply online, you just have to say that you know regarding this program because this event, and we are going to evaluate your candidature, and then if there is a match with our expectation, we are going to give you the scholarship. It's just one, so good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Lilit.
to join this.
Esther, you would like to conclude and then we can close?
Well, I would like to thank Lilit for her presentation and for the tips when being creative and in order to boost creativity. Thank you, Sandeep, for the opportunity, as always, to share our best practices and to build our best practices. So nothing else from my side. Thank you all for being here today, this afternoon, and I hope you have a lot of volunteers for this scholarship, Lilit, and good luck. So
Yes.
see you in our next session.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, and keep in mind that new creativity era is here. So good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. You are mute.